is up, guys? This is going to be the first official episode of Responders Unplugged
Brr, 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 brr.
podcast. So, we're going to try to do something here. We're going to completely improv this entire episode and we're going to see how it goes. And if we determine that it sucks at the end, you guys probably will never see it. So,
Or we make a second YouTube channel called Responders Unplugged B-roll, and that might be on here.
yeah. So, basically, we've been wanting to start a podcast for a long time. I actually started really trying to gain a following on TikTok, um, which, if you guys don't know, I'm Sheepdog291 on TikTok. Hopefully, a lot of my followers follow me over here. And if you don't follow me already, make sure you hop over to TikTok and give me a follow because I got a lot of funny videos on there. I think I'm sitting right now at 92,000 followers,
I
I
don't know.
think.
Don't look at me. I'm not too sure about that.
Anyways, but yeah, so it's something we've been wanting to start for a long time, and we finally just did it. Actually, this is we've tried it before, and it looked like it was filmed with a potato, so we had to redo it. So
Nothing's gone on air.
yeah, this would be the first official episode, but not the first official episode we've filmed because we don't know what we're doing.
Absolutely no idea. We're just winging it.
Yeah, we're winging it. Right now, we have two cameras filming, and whichever one is the best quality is the one you're going to see.
Yeah,
So
so if you see me looking around like an idiot, I'm trying to figure out what camera to look at.
same here. So we have a monitor too where we can see ourselves. So like right now, if you see me looking here, I'm actually looking at the monitor, or I could be looking at this camera, or possibly this camera. So yeah. Anyways, so we're gonna dive into it. For those of you, we'll introduce ourselves. For those of you who don't know me from TikTok, I'm a full time cop. I have a little bit of experience in the fire service. Mostly my experience in the fire service is just dragging hose around and people yelling at me and telling me what to do. And a little bit of first responder prior to my law enforcement career. Dispatch, done that for several years. Worked in a jail. So I've kind of touched on it.
Well, that's where
Uh,
we met. So
yeah, we
we met
actually
in jail.
met. We met in jail. We weren't in jail. We worked at the jail.
We were
And that
still
was
there.
back in 2015.
I believe 2000. Yeah, no, 2016, because I was already married. Well,
No,
no,
it was 2015.
yeah, it was right before I got married
Because
when you
I
started.
started at the jail in August of 2015, and you had already worked there.
Yeah, and I was married in October. So yeah, yeah. So it was 2015. Yeah.
So that's pretty much me. I'm full time cop. We plan to have special guests on this show too. We might have a political figure or another law enforcement officer, or hopefully maybe one of these days we might have the sheriff on here or the chief of police. And maybe we'll have a fire chief. Right now, you're currently what, an assistant
Yeah,
fire
I'm
chief,
currently assistant fire chief.
So that's a little bit about me. I'm gonna let Band Aid. That's what we call him. I'm gonna let Band Aid tell you a little bit about himself, and we'll get on.
Band-Aid is my, I don't know, how would you call it? My call sign for the SRT team. I am their medical personnel. Also a full-time EMT. Will also work at the sheriff's office as part-time dispatch when I have time to pick up shifts. Also assistant fire chief at one of our local county volunteer fire departments. Been doing that for about 11 years. Same thing with the sheriff's office. Been about 11 years. Full-fledged DMT for about 5 and a couple months. But yeah, just always been in the realm of public servants.
Yeah, um, pretty much done it all. Well done it all.
Yeah.
Um, like he said, he's on the SRT team. I'm on the SRT team, which is a select group of people within our county. It's a county-wide SRT team. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's basically a SWAT team. It's just
Less funding.
less funding, and it's not. We can't use the word SWAT because we don't have.
SWAT 1 and 2.
Not everyone has SWAT
Yeah.
1 and 2. So It's a special response team. We do things like deploying for search warrants or special assignments, things that
High risk factors.
high risk factors. And there's obviously a select group of people that we get called out and we have a separate uniform and we meet up and we go do whatever it is we need to do. So, and we're both members of that SRT team. And if we do end up having the sheriff or the chief of police on it, they're also both members of that. But
Yeah, we can dive deeper in a future podcast.
yeah, yeah. I mean, and that's another thing too is we obviously want you guys to leave comments below. What would you like to see? Because we're new and we're kind of dumb,
Kind
and
of. Our IQ is potato compared to both of
we
us.
we want to give the people what they want to hear on a podcast. This is the podcast for the people. Zoom in on my face.
I don't feel like
Okay,
you need
thank
to
you.
say that out loud.
I'm gonna edit that zoom in on my face whenever we're done. It's gonna be really cool. Anyways, so yeah, leave comments below. We're down for Q&As, whatever.
Yes.
We've got topics we can discuss in the future, but like I said, this first one we're kind of just gonna
It's
get
just to
it
get the
out there. What we
fillers
got.
out there, see
Yeah.
what you guys think, see how we feel about it. And, try to work out some of the kinks. There's always going to be kinks,
Oh, yeah.
especially with us two. We don't know what we're doing half the time.
And I had a lot of positive feedback from my followers on TikTok wanting to come over here and watch the podcast, and we actually already have several subscribers without any episodes up. So
All
that's
because
good.
of your good looks.
It is not because of my good looks; it's because I'm funny. Zoom in on my face. Thank you. So yeah. What is what's your what's the funniest story in your line of work that you've experienced?
Mm. Honestly, that's actually a really hard one.
No, okay. How about this? How about this? How about this? Disregard. 1025.
Disregarding it this time.
What's the weirdest call you've ever been on? The absolute weirdest call. I mean, like, it could be what you were dispatched to. What's the weirdest call?
We had a character that lived in just north of town, down by the river. You also all the time used to call in about seeing little green men in his attic. Good old Jim Beam.
Oh, yeah.
Was
I
his
remember
nickname.
him. I remember him.
Former Vietnam vet, I believe.
Funny story about him, too.
He was just absolute crazy. First time I ever had to deal with him. Called the 911 line, panicking, saying there was people in his house. So I did like anybody would do to that situation. I let everybody know. They all start running code. I'm getting more information from them, stating that they're crawling on a ceiling. They're about 4 feet tall, gray, with almond-shaped eyes. I'm like, oh, this guy's not normal. So I let the officers know, and they replied back, "Dispatch, did you just say there's aliens in his house?" Copy. That's what RP stating. There's aliens.
Yeah. So that was while you were the dispatcher.
Yeah, that's when I was dispatching.
My funny story about this particular guy that our nickname was Jim Beam.
Yep, Jim Beam.
Was while I was a dispatcher, and he called one night, and mind you, he's completely serious when he calls these in. Like, he truly
absolutely.
believes this is what's happening. He called and said that there are, I'm not making this up, this really happened. He called and said there's kangaroos dressed up as ninjas. Yeah.
I listened to the playback on this one.
Dressed up as ninjas, and they were mowing his yard. Mind you, it's like 10, 11
Yeah.
at night, mowing his yard, and he wanted an officer to go over there and trespass them from his property. And of course, me, being how I am, with my sense of humor, I'm like, well, why would you want them trespass? They're mowing your yard. At least let them finish mowing your yard, and then I'll send an officer over there, and they can trespass them. And he was not thrilled with that response. He was actually pretty irritated.
Yeah, he was a main staple the entire time I was dispatching. You could rely on him at least once a week to call.
Oh yeah, and I remember working overnights too, with Pat.
Yep.
And he would call up there, and Pat was an older woman I used to dispatch with overnights, and every time it would come up his number, she'd be like, "I'll take it." and she'd sit over there, and as long as we don't have any other calls coming in, she'd just have a conversation with him because sometimes he'd just call him want to talk,
Yeah, he was just lonely.
and if we didn't have anything going on, she'd talk to him, and if another call came in or something, I would take it, and she would tell him, hey, I got to get off here because, we can't tie up the phone line anymore because we had two. But yeah, you'll get those people, and it seems like there's always somebody
There's
like
at
that.
least one or two
Like
in the
once
county.
once that person goes away, goes to a home or whatever they do,
Get two more to take his place.
yeah, you have another one that takes the place, and it's just a revolving door. You always have that one
You always,
crazy
you always
person,
get your crazy people. You always get your town drunks, your local
or the guy
drunks.
that calls up there and I can't shit.
Oh yeah, good old apartment A1.
Oh yeah, apartment A1. I can't shit. There's always somebody.
always. It's probably the worst things ever.
Yeah, I mean, because you're like, they call me, they're like, oh, we finally got so and so in a home. We won't have to deal with it anymore. And we're like, oh, perfect. Now we don't have to go over to his house,
Like a
4 times a
then a
week.
week later they're out.
A week later, they're out, or somebody else starts calling.
Yep.
It's like, I don't know. It is what it is. I guess it's funny. It's it's not. It is funny. Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah.
They don't know any different.
It's the best part. I mean, you feel bad for them because that's where they're stuck at in their mind, and you just
But it also kind of makes light of the situation.
it does.
Like
It breaks the monotony
Mhm.
when you have a call like that.
Yeah, because it's fun dispatching over the radio somebody to go over to a house to trespass some kangaroo ninjas.
Kangaroo ninjas.
So, um, what is what's the scaredest you've ever been?
Um,
And any service.
Probably when I flipped the fire truck. So I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that was probably the scariest moment in any of my career, between fire, EMS, the law enforcement stuff.
Band-Aid over here.
I flipped a
yeah.
3,000-gallon tanker.
We love him, but he swerved to miss a deer while responding to a very, very, very large chicken barn fire.
Yep.
Swerved to miss a deer and decided to roll a.
Oh, I didn't
tanker.
decide. The truck decided itself.
Well, you influenced the truck to roll the tanker.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, it was a 3,000-gallon tanker, 3 to 4 times sideways and 1 up and over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I cleared the roadway, launched a Halligan 60 yards down the field.
And that was we talked about this, 20.
20. Sorry, I was looking
20.
off camera to look at the wife. She's the one that's telling me my
20.
information.
2020, because I was on a neighboring fire department at the time, and I remember I was on scene, and there were, people were like, "Oh my gosh, so and so was responding out here for mutual aid or whatever, and they rolled a tanker, and it's not good." And I'm like, "Oh, what agency was it?" And they told me, and I'm like, "Crap, I hope that wasn't freaking Band-Aid."
Yeah, it was
Band-Aid.
It was a good show.
Yeah, it was Band-Aid.
I walked out pretty unscathed. Just had a couple minor lacerations, small hole in the back, fractured orbital socket, but nothing crazy. Possibly a little brain damage, but
that was already present.
I'm gonna blame it on the wreck.
That was already present. Yeah. Not that it matters whether it's a small hole or a large hole. Either way, a hole in your back is not
That's like
ideal.
the size of a quarter, you would say. I mean,
I would like to not have any holes in my back, preferably.
got to yeah. Really,
but all things
really, let's
considered.
talk about
What?
you almost died on a dirt bike. I was on shift when that happened.
Yeah, I got life flighted.
Yeah, let's talk about stupid injuries. I was out of the hospital in like 6 hours. How long were you in the hospital for?
A couple days.
Yeah.
I only remember like 12 hours of being in the hospital. I actually got up to pee after I came to. I had a traumatic brain injury, among other injuries, fractured sternum and AC separation, bruised kidneys,
The works.
tinnitus, still have that. Yeah, I got up to pee, and I thought I was in the local hospital from just what I was gathering. I just The first couple days in the hospital, didn't remember a thing because I had a 10-second memory reset, which is very hard on your mother if you're wondering. Very very hard on your mother. And every time I would reset, I was like a year in the past. So I thought I was with my ex girlfriend, and I was resetting, and I'd ask where's she at. And my mom's like, every 10 seconds she'd be like, "Oh, honey, you guys split up." Like it was terrible. 10-second Tom. Um.
No one
Anyways,
knows that's a
yeah,
51st Dates reference.
yeah. If you guys haven't seen that movie, it's pretty funny. Um, I got up to pee, and I remember I went and peed, hurt really bad, bruised kidneys, blood in the urine, and I go look out the window, and I'm like 20 stories off the ground. I'm like, our hospital ain't got 20 stories. So I turn and look at my mom. I'm like, how'd I get here? She's like, Bubby, you got flown here. I'm like, I was in a freaking helicopter? 'Cause I am afraid of heights. I ain't trying to get in no helicopter. She's like, yeah, you flew here in a helicopter. I'm like, oh. I was just mad. I was like, you just like brought me in a helicopter. But yeah, anyways, enough about me.
Small tangent there.
Don't let your kids ride dirt bikes. Unless you just want to be in a constant state of anxiety and stress. My poor mother.
That's parenting.
That's true, but
I mean,
dirt bikes are just like,
it's just another form to have fun. I mean, they're gonna get hurt walking across the yard barefooted or walking down the stairs. Put two
well, if there's
wheels
one
on
thing
their
I
wheel.
learned with dirt bikes, it's not if, it's when.
That's
You're going to get
anything.
seriously hurt eventually. You like me, I thought I was Superman, always trying to go faster, and then one day you wake up in the hospital and you don't remember the last 3 days of your life. So keep that in mind.
Oh man.
But yeah, going back to the tanker thing, you were actually pretty fortunate in that.
Oh, I was. I mean, statistically, I should have probably been worse off than what I was. I was partially ejected out of the side door, pulled myself back in as it was rolling. And tugged
Oh, and the
myself.
tanker didn't have baffles in it.
Yeah, tanker did not have baffles. It was a converted old milk truck.
Explain to them the purpose of baffles.
Baffles reduce the flow and energy of water displacement when you hit the brakes. So when you hit the brakes without baffles, you will continue being pushed by the pressure of the water with all that force behind it. The baffle will break it up in segments, so you're only getting a small wave instead of a big tidal wave hitting the back of your truck.
Yeah, a lot of
Best way I can describe that.
fire truck tankers or like your trucks that go to your gas stations or whatever.
I mean,
they have
our brush truck that
baffles
holds
in them.
250 gallons has baffles in it now.
Yeah.
Just rather be safe than sorry.
Sometimes you do things that implement new policies.
Yeah.
Like
if you're going to do anything, do it good enough that you're going to be a policy. If you're not part of a safety briefing, you're not living.
that's true. Yeah. I don't know what my scaredest moment would be. I've had a couple of moments where I was just like,
Oh, crap.
yeah.
I mean, you've been involved how many wrecks now? You've been.
Why you gotta say it like that?
How many times have you totaled out a car? Your police cruiser.
I've only totaled one.
The other one should have been totaled.
What other one?
The one that you plowed. Weren't you the one that plowed that coyote?
No.
Oh, that wasn't you. Who was that?
I've hit a deer,
Yeah.
hit a raccoon, drove through a barbed wire fence chasing
Oh,
someone.
that's right. Yeah, you ripped off the spotlight.
Yeah. Sheriff wasn't too happy about that. But we caught him.
I just want you to know.
All the suspects were in custody. Just crashed a patrol car a week prior, got another patrol car, hit a deer the very next day, and then the very next day after that, I drove the car through a barbed wire fence chasing someone.
Yeah, wasn't that in the middle of the field? Wasn't like off the access of the road. You were already in the field to begin with.
No, that was the second fence.
I mean, you already went through one. Why not go through another, right?
That was my logic.
I mean, it makes sense. It's already damaged.
The third
once.
fence, I was thinking logically, and I actually got out and got my bolt cutters because I was fortunate enough to not lose my light bar on the first two. Well, the second one wasn't really a fence; it was a gate. I wasn't worried about
like a
losing
cattle
my light
gate.
bar. Yeah.
Jesus.
Anyways,
I just want to see this recurring theme is you're destroying your car.
well, if I wouldn't have hit the deer the day before, and the front end was already busted up, And I had like 3 seconds to think about it. Been chasing this car for like 45 minutes. And I'm like, I ain't ready to give up yet. So they decided to go through the fence. And it was like still there-ish. And I'm like, you know what? Everyone else isn't driving to the fence. Somebody's got to chase this guy out. There was 2 people in the car, both with felony warrants.
I was dispatching when you did this.
Were you?
Yes, I was dispatching with, I believe it was Leanne.
I know it was Halloween night.
Yeah. I usually worked every holiday.
Yeah, Halloween night.
I picked those up because no one wanted them.
That was what, 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Farther back, bud.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 4.
No.
Yes.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, because we've had the Explorers for 4 years now.
No, we haven't.
Yes, we have.
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
No.
Yes, we got the Explorers before after I
We
got
got 'em
my
last
EMT
year.
license. No.
They're 2023 models.
No, they're not.
Yes, they are.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they're 2023 models. No, they're 24s. We got them in November.
Are you sure?
We got them in November of.
I
20
swear,
yeah.
I swear we've had them longer than that.
They're 24 models. Wait a minute. Maybe they're 23 models. I know we got them in November of the year prior to the make. So we got them in November of 22 or November of 23. Either way, they're not 4 years old. You're wrong. Zoom into my face.
You assuming in things gonna get annoying. Zoom in. Don't zoom in.
I'm zooming in on you now. So
Don't do that.
it's too late. You've already been zoomed in on. There's nothing you can do about it.
Thanks.
And I'm zooming in on you again right now. Now I'm putting a blur over your face.
I'm okay with
They
that.
can't see you. You're still blurred.
My identity is secret.
They don't know who you are because you're blurred.
Exactly. See, it's best of both worlds.
And blur's gone. Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah, no, those where were we going with that?
I have no idea. Scariest calls we were on.
Oh. Yeah, there's been a couple of times where I was like responding to a call involving a kid or someone really close to me's loved one, CPR in progress type thing. And
So were you not scared when you were shooting outside your windshield?
no,
Weren't scared at all. You
I
accepted
was
fate.
living it. Yeah, I was living it up at that moment.
I'm glad you were, because I wasn't.
Yeah,
On
no
the
one
radio
else
on,
was.
I was listening to it. Man, that was
Yeah,
ooh.
get into a rolling shootout was
Yeah, that
quite
was
the
pre
experience.
SRT stuff.
yeah.
So I was just automatically on call,
Mhm.
working at the sheriff's office. Like, oh hey, you can help people. You can pack wounds and stop the bleed. So if you hear anything, just start heading that way.
Yeah, I remember the sheriff called me afterwards, and he was like, "Hey," because he actually got a flat tire on the way, because everyone got called out. You know, I had this pursuit going on, and we had shots fired, and he left his house and like instantly got a flat tire, like bone flat.
Oh yeah, it was like right down the road. Like,
Yeah,
he barely
so
made
he
it
didn't
out
make
of his...
it out there, and I remember he called me after it was all said and done. He's like, "Hey, are you all right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sheriff, I'm fine. I'm actually doing great. That was awesome." And he was like, because I was like, I had a blast.
Yeah,
And
literally.
he's like,
had a blast.
he's like, "Oh my gosh." He's like, "Well, your idea of fun and my idea of fun are different, I guess."
Our sheriff is very old school, good old boy.
Old school cowboy style. We love him for it.
Oh, absolutely.
The community loves him. He's got a great rapport with our community, and he's just one of those, you know. I get a kick off of his Facebook post.
Oh, his Facebook post cracked me up.
Putting some wood on the fire.
That's exactly how he says it.
Yeah.
Is the issue.
He says it's FAR, putting wood on the fire. Very, very old school. Been doing it a long time. 30,
36, 37 years.
something like that. 35, 36 years. We've been fortunate enough to have him for, this is his 3rd consecutive term, right? Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So this is his 3rd consecutive term.
Damn, he's been my boss that long.
Mm-hmm.
Oof.
And unfortunately, I think he's finally decided he's going to retire after this term. We'll see.
He's gonna hang up his Spurs finally.
He might hang up the Spurs unless we all talk him into doing another one. What's 4 more years?
Yeah.
What's 4 more years?
Already got this many down your belt.
Mm-hmm.
Why not have more?
But definitely hell of a guy. And he's always been fair to me. That's for dang sure.
Oh yeah, he's been more than lenient on me on
I've
multiple times.
I've totaled cars and went in his office with my head down and my tail between my legs, and he didn't. You know,
I mean,
he could have got me in a lot more trouble, but
I've cursed on the radio and told on myself. He's like, "Well, I didn't know about it. Why are you telling me?"
yeah, yeah. But yeah, no. I'd say the scariest is probably just. There's been a couple times where you're going real fast and your car starts sliding on pavement, and you're like,
You want to talk about real fast? We were looking for that guy, pop that hill into that 1-lane bridge. That hill's like this.
"Oh,
Yeah, we
on
were.
the gravel."
Yeah, we were both
Yeah,
death gripping everything we could get a hold of in your car.
we had our at the time I was working at the sheriff's office, and my patrol sergeant had kicked off a pursuit. Well, the guy had he turned around on him, so he had a big gap, and he was trying to catch up to this car, and he had turned on a highway, and then before my sergeant could catch up to him, he had turned on a gravel road. So we were kind of searching the area, and Band-Aid was with me, and we were driving down. We were in the area, and we seen a big dust trail going down this county road. So I'm like, oh,
There he is.
whoever that is moving. Like, they're moving. So I'm like, maybe it got them. I got a dust trail. I'm going to follow this dust trail and see what happens. Well, on this particular county road that I hadn't been on in a while, you go over this big hill. And I mean, it goes straight down. And you guys know how wide a freaking county road is, a gravel road.
That's not maintained.
The bridge was narrower than the road. Like, there's no two cars going across this bridge. Old metal, like the frame going up around it with wood bridge, like scary bridge. Go over this hill going
Appropriate amount of speed.
Mach 1,
Per
and
policy, appropriate amount of speed.
we go over the hill, and we're both just like, and we're just like brakes locked up going down this gravel road, and I just like, there was no way I'm stopping, so I just like lined her up the best I could and hit this wooden bridge,
And I quote, "Hold on, this might get dicey."
yeah, and afterwards we were just like stopped, and we're like, oh, that was spooky. It was.
It was.
That was. Yeah, you brought that up. That might be my scariest. Honestly, that was pretty.
I'm glad I can share that
Western.
moment with you.
Yeah. That. I wish I could just. Maybe I'll get on Google Maps, maybe, possibly, and post a picture of that bridge. Actually, I might just drive out there and take a picture of it.
Yeah,
because
'cause
you
I
guys have
mean,
no idea how
That
sketchy
hill
this
is like
bridge
what, a 30-degree angle?
Yeah, it's
If a 30-degree angle, it's you peak the hill and you're automatically facing down to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a roller coaster. It's terrible.
And at the bottom is just a big giant creek.
Yeah,
and
big old ravine.
The sketchiest bridge you've ever seen in your life. Stressing me out thinking about that.
Making your palms sweaty.
Yeah, I'll never do that again. Or B, highway.
Oh, you talking about Sand Hill?
Mm-hmm.
Sand Hill's got me in a fire truck once or twice.
It got me pretty early on in my career. I was responding to a domestic or something physical domestic, and I went over it and
Got air.
My car got air. I'm like, oh,
Yeah, when you
boy.
catch air in a brush truck, not a good thing.
I've caught air in a patrol car a couple of times. One of them was in a pursuit, and I was on the guy's bumper, and he caught air. And by the time I seen that he caught air, it was too late for me not to catch air. So I was like,
yeah, when you watch that happen and you're behind him, you're like, well, shit.
it was a Ricky Bobby moment for sure. Yep, I'm flying through the air. This is not good. He landed. Rocks went flying. They're hitting my car. I land, and it's just like trying to keep it straight.
I mean, the worst part is there's no signage that says a dip or extreme hill, nothing. It's just come around the corner, go down, up, and then you're airborne.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty much what Sand Hill is in our area.
And you figure it out. You only do it once.
Once?
I've only done it once. I've only got my car off the ground once.
I've almost taken my bike off the ground on that.
No, the first one scared me enough. I was like, I know that's here now. And what the bad thing was, is my sergeant, when I was in FTO, told me, he's like, don't go fast over this hill. You'll only do it once.
So you tell me you don't listen.
I only did it once.
So
he was right about that. You'll only do it once.
Oh, yeah.
You're absolutely right. All right. Well, anything else
If you
from
guys
Band-Aid?
got any questions or cusses, fusses, or discusses,
Oh, you had to throw it in
I had to
there.
throw it in there. If you got any
Man.
cusses, fusses, or discusses, put them in the comments. We will try to please you guys as much as possible, seeing what we can do.
I wanted to say.
Oh, I'm sorry. Next time you
Sounds
can.
so cool. Why? That's okay.
Next
It's
time
okay.
you can. Yeah, I'm sorry.
You got it.
I still love you.
So yeah, if you don't follow me already, go over to TikTok. Follow me at Sheepdog291, and follow my YouTube Sheepdog291. And then this Responders Unplug is our YouTube channel. And obviously, if this goes well, we're gonna try to get one up weekly, hopefully.
Hopefully,
And
as long as our schedules align.
we want to hear from you guys. Give us some feedback. What do you want to hear? What do you want to talk about? We're going to try to
Absolutely.
interact with you as much as we can in the comment section. And I think that's pretty much all we got for now. So I guess that's it until next week.
I agree.
All right.
Honestly, we're good.
It's still recording you, though. I'm zooming in on you right now.
You don't say shit like that.